allies. Friends and I allies.
What's going on, YouTube? So I kind of want to make a video that kind of got involved, that kind of gets everybody involved. And this is a tag video about your sneaker history and your sneaker past, of why you like sneakers, what got you into sneakers, what planted that seed within you that kind of made you into what you are today. Things like that. So I know I haven't really been in the sneaker community like that. I don't make as many sneaker reviews or anything like that. Just and I think honestly the reason is I'm more of a retro sneakerhead, so I don't really buy the new stuff that comes out, whether it be like retro stuff too. I don't like any of the current lines of basketball, like LeBron's or KD's or Kobe's. I don't like any of that stuff. So I'm more of like a retro sneakerhead, and I do it for nostalgia now. Well, I always did, but as I am into video games, I'm not into current gen gaming. I'm more into retro gaming. But I kind of wanted to make this video just to get everybody involved and kind of have fun with it, because I've noticed that in the gaming community, there'll be certain people, people will just make a tag video, where they get like, they'll make a video. It could be like, what's your favorite video game? What's your favorite console to collect for? Or this and that. And then they'll tag people within, like, if you want to see somebody do a video on it, then you tag those person. You tag an individual person. Me, I'm not gonna tag anybody. This is kind of like the first video that's gonna be open to the whole community. So I'm tagging everybody. If you want to do a video, you can leave a video response and just send it to me. Try to like submit it, and I will accept it. So it'll go down, down below in that little bar where you can see like all the video responses. And if you don't make videos, you can just leave a comment as to why you're into sneakers and what got you into sneakers or whatever. Kind of get people involved and kind of have fun with it. See what other people's stories are. We can see the differences and all that. So that's what I want to do with this video. And if it's been done, then it's been done. But having said all that, my sneaker past, we all know that, pretty much being the age that I am and the era that I grew up in, when you were born or when you were just growing up, even like it was already embedded in you. It was flowing through your veins, like it was automatically in your brain as soon as you could breathe, that Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. And me growing up in 90s, I'm talking about the whole 90s, not just late 90s. Not just mid-90s, early 90s, late 80s. Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson was the biggest thing in pop music, but Michael Jordan was the biggest thing. He was bigger than his sport. So in elementary school, I wasn't into sneakers. I wasn't into fashion. And I'm proud of saying that. Now, I hear a lot of people say, like, yeah, when I was, like, in 3rd grade, I had these Jordans, and I was into Jordans, and blah, blah. Like, to me, if you're in elementary school and you give a shit about fashion and sneakers, you're not a real kid to me, man. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know anybody that was into sneakers growing up. Like, and I knew some people who had older brothers, where the older brothers would give them J's and Jordans and shit, but they weren't into sneakers. Yeah, they had the Jordans, but they didn't give a shit. They were fucking playing soccer with those Jordans during recess, So, to me, I think that's the way it should be. Like, you should be a kid. Like, when I was in elementary school, I was into comic books and video games and TV and movies and Fruity Pebbles. Like, that's... But if you're into fashion, and you're in 3rd grade, like, even if you were into sneakers and shit when you were in 3rd grade and you were trying to impress me, well, you didn't impress me. So he's like, hey, man, I got the new Jordans. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Are we going to play this game right now? Are we going to do this? You trying to trade this Wolverine for a Deadpool trading card? Come on, let's do this. But anyways, I wasn't into that shit. And it wasn't until middle school that I started getting into fashion. I was starting to really, really get into music now. Of course, in elementary school, I wasn't ignorant to that shit. I knew what Jordans were. I knew what music was. And to me, I feel like, in my experience, I feel like there had to have been a lot of stuff that connected in order for me to like sneakers. Now, I feel like if you like sneakers, you can't just like sneakers. You kind of like have to like other stuff that I guess goes with it. So with me, growing up where I grew up, I'm not from a rural area, and I don't live in the main city. So I live in a pretty urban area where it's very diverse in cultures and all that. And the part that I live, the main music that the youth would listen to is hip hop. So I feel hip hop definitely goes hand in hand with sneakers. I'm sorry if you don't believe that, but it does. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, it's especially in the 90s. I don't know about now, maybe not now, but in the 90s, that's how it was, man. So, you know, having influences of hip hop, I liked hip hop. I liked sports, basketball. I just was into it. I'll get into my sports history. Art, you know, shoes are a form of art. I'm an artist. I'm not going to say I'm an artist where I, like, draw for people and get paid. I'm an artist where I can draw. Like, I've been drawing since I was a kid. That's, like, a talent that not many people know. I can actually draw. It's one of the big reasons why I really even got into comic books is because of the art. I love art. So, I feel like you have to at least like some other stuff besides just sneakers. If you just like basketball sneakers and you're not into basketball, to me that's fucking weird. Or if you're not into fashion, or if you're not into sports, or if you're not into hip-hop, like... So, in my experience, it was all that stuff put together that kind of made me like sneakers. I like pop culture. Michael Jordan was bigger than the sport. I used to see the commercials, people, you know. And when you're a little kid, you kind of look up to the teenagers and the people in their 20s. And what were the people in their 20s doing and teenagers? They were all into sports and they were all into fashion and getting the Jordans and getting the ladies. That was it. So, in elementary school, I would play soccer. Now, by default, as a kid, I thought because I was Latino, I had to like soccer, so I played soccer. But in middle school, I started to realize, man, I don't need to like soccer just because I'm Spanish. So I was like, man, fuck this. So in 5th grade, I kind of started playing basketball, and I really liked it. And one of the reasons why I stuck with basketball is because I was really good at it. Like, I'm a small dude, I'm quick, and I have a good shot, and I was really good at basketball. So I stuck to basketball. And when you like a certain sport, and what comes with basketball, I'm sorry, but sneakers come, you know, if you like basketball, sneakers come into play, and fucking the players and everything. So in middle school, I started really getting into fashion because, like, I don't know, when you're at elementary school, fashion doesn't matter. And until you get to middle school and high school, that's when people start getting superficial and they start judging you for your fucking clothes, which I think is fucking pathetic, but I've been there. I know exactly what people are going through. I've been through that phase of my life, and I think it's pretty pathetic, but that's how it is. And, you know, when you start getting to middle school, you know, girls start developing and shit. They start getting titties and boobs and shit, and you start liking titties. And so what's the way to start getting onto those titties? You got to impress them females. And people think that because if you dress fresh, you can get them females, which really isn't the case, man. It's all about your fucking personality and your confidence. But as a kid, you don't know that. You think it's because, oh, if I got the fresh Tommy Hilfiger and the Nautica and the Jordans, I'm good to go. But, you know, that's how I used to think back in the day. That's not how it is. But in middle school, I started really focusing on I started noticing sneakers more. I started noticing the people that play sports started wearing the Jordans. And when I was in middle school, in the mid-90s, the shoes that came out were like the Pippins and the Diamond Turfs and like the Jordan 11s, the 12s, the 13s, and the 14s. And all the other stuff that came out from like 1995, 96 to like 1998, 99. And even in high school, there was some fresh shit. And I'm talking about OG shit, dude. This isn't no retro shit, like the Flight Posits and the Foam Posits and all that. So it wasn't until high school where finally my mom got my first pair of Jordans, which is the Oreo 4s, which I have. If you want to see my Oreo 4s, I have tons of videos of them. And this was the days before, you know, you didn't have to fucking wait in line, dude. You didn't have to do all that shit. And me trying to get a pair of Jordans, my first pair, I wanted a pair because I was... From like 7th all the way to junior year of high school, I had like a rotation of 7 sneakers, and I cleaned them up, and I never beat them up, and I always had like a little shoe for every outfit. Like I had some white and blue pair of Sauconys if I wanted to wear like a blue flannel, or I had my old black 4s, Jordan 4s, if I wanted to wear something black and just not care, you know, something like that. So 99, I got those Oreo 4s, which is so easy to cop because they were like on clearance, man. My mom bought them for me for Christmas, and like I said, man, this is before like you have to wait in line, and it was easy. So I was able to cop them, loved them. Finally, senior year of high school, when I finally got the money. Now, from like 9th all the way to 11th grade, I still bought, like, whenever I could, I'd buy fresh clothes, and I had, like I said, I had kept my shoes that my mom would buy or my parents would buy me. Because I didn't have a job. I don't know where these, like, teenagers get the money for the shoes today. Like, I didn't start working until my senior year. And honestly, you can't start working until you're 16, right? So you're 16 when you're like a junior year. So like when you're like in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, I don't know where the fuck you get the money, but I didn't have the money. So my parents did buy me something. Now my parents didn't have money like that. So when they did, I appreciated the work my parents did. Like my parents were hardworking people, and I saw the sacrifices they did to make my sister and me happy. So when they bought me somewhere to be video games, comic books, or sneakers, I took care of my shit. And I still have everything that I had as a kid. I still have all my games, all my comic books, all my action figures, all my sneakers. Because I took care of my shit, because I appreciate my shit. That's why people are like, wow, you have a big collection. It's not that I just bought these all of a sudden. It's the fact that I've bought these for more than a decade. I've bought these for years, and I've just accumulated them. And me being the type of person I am, I like to collect stuff. So I like to have a good variety of stuff to choose from. I don't like to just have one certain pair of sneaker beat up and then I have to buy another colorway. I like to keep it nice. So finally, senior year, I finally got a job, 2002. I bought all the fucking sneakers I could buy, dude. I finally had a job, man, so I saved up. And once again, this was a time where retros and Jordans and Nikes, they didn't release every other 2 days. They would release one retro every like 2 months. Not even 2 months, man, maybe longer. So you, between those 2 months, you had time to save up. So I could pretty much buy, if I wanted to, I could buy every Jordan. And honestly, that's kind of what I did. Not every Jordan, not every Retro Plus. They didn't have too many Retro Plus, but every Jordan that I really wanted, I could have got. And I had a goal that I wanted every OG colorway because I couldn't find a fucking OG colorway that I didn't like. And so to me, it was more simpler back then, and it was a lot more fun because there wasn't that many shoes. Now, the reason why I'm not into sneakers is because now it's a hassle to get sneakers. It's a lot more expensive. It's not as fun. And I feel like sneakers has gotten to the point where it's, I use the word Hollywood. It's commercialized. So it's a business now. They've realized that people are willing to pay dumb fuck dollars for these fucking shoes. So they're going to be milking it for what it's worth. And that's what a business does. When they see an opportunity, they're going to take it. Whether or not it's going to fucking piss off OG collectors, they don't give a shit because that's a small percentage of the people that actually buy their shit. And the thing is, I used to like, me growing up in the 90s, I used to like the shoes from the 90s because there wasn't as many colorways and there wasn't as many shoes. And it was a lot more simpler. So, the example I'm going to give you, when a basketball player had a sneaker, they would basically only have the colorway of the team that they were on. And they wouldn't have that many, you know, they would have like, let's think of a player back in the day, Gary Payne. All right, Gary Payne. He played for Seattle Supersonics. So Seattle Supersonic colorways were, you know, green. So we'd have some green kicks, you know, along with black or white. Now, you wouldn't see Gary Payne shoes having like fucking purple or, I don't know, orange. You would just see black, white, and gray, or green, you know? And same thing with Jordans. With Jordans, you'd have the black, of course, the red, and white. You have to have those colors. And so it was a lot simpler. And if you really wanted to, you could complete a whole set run of shoes that you want. Like, I like Penny Hardaway, so I want to get all the Penny Hardaway colors. And you could have done that because they didn't whore it out like they do today. And even when LeBron's first came out, like LeBron 1s, 2s, 3s, they would have like maybe 4 or 5 colorways max, and they would all coincide. They would all be relevant to the colorway of the team that they had. So LeBron was Cleveland Cavs, so he'd have like a white, maybe have some little bit of red, you know, and black. And so I felt like back in those days, it was a lot simpler, and it was easier. So now they'll come out with a LeBron that has 40 colorways, and one of the colorways will be fucking pink, blue, orange, yellow, purple. That has nothing to do with Miami Heat colorway. And so a lot of people, they like that. They like to have that variety. Me personally, I don't like that because I like simple things. I'm a simple guy. When I buy stuff, I just like to buy the simple things. I don't like limited shit. Even my gaming collection, my comic book collection, I don't like limited stuff. I don't like variant covers. I don't like video games that have copies of only 100 copies in production. I don't like shoes that have like 5 pairs in existence. I like basic stuff. Like, that's me. And that's how I feel. I feel it's a lot more settling. It's a lot more easier. It's a lot more fun. You know? And it's a lot easier to keep track of. Like, I can't keep track of these things. So, me, I'm a I'm a retro sneakerhead, so I like the simpler shit. I don't like the fancy. I like subtle stuff that doesn't draw attention to myself because I don't like drawing attention. That's why I don't wear flashy shit. Like I don't like that shit. I don't like people looking at me like funny if I wear hot orange sneakers. Like that's me. I don't like that. So that's my history of sneakers. That's what got me into it. That's why I liked it. And so once again, guys, if you like to leave a video response, to submit it. Let's get this shit going. Let's get people involved. I like to see your responses. And if you want to see somebody say something about the history pass, the sneaker pass, and tag them, let them know. Submit your video to them and let them see it. And then we can do this and have like a huge like shit going and rolling. All right, guys. Once again, thanks for watching. Peace out.